SAFER grant is where we can get possibly up to 4 firefighters through a federal grant. The grant lasts 2 years, pays all of their benefits, all of their pay, and we have to keep them for 1 year afterwards. I don't know what other avenue to talk with you folks about it. I don't come to public comment. So you call a SAFER grant.
And could you possibly get a paramedic, or?
Possibly. We can look into that avenue also at the same time. Got a quick overview of what they give us and what they won't give us and so forth. I got a copy for each one of these here, so I just didn't have time to run and drop it off.
Mr. O'Leary.
Yeah, this is a similar thing that we could have applied for last spring.
Yes.
Right. I think it's a good.
They've changed the venue. They're now offered for 2 years. You have to keep the person for 1 year afterwards, so it's an actual 3-year grant. The town will have to pick up. No, it used to be 5.
That's how it used to be 5.
And it was a grant that would start off 90%, 80%, and so forth, and go down. Now they're offering it as 2 years. They'll pay for all of the benefits and all of the pay, and so forth. But at the end of the 3rd year, we have to pick up 100%, and/or we can't lay anybody off for those 3 years.
I think it's a good program.
Well,
For how long?
3 years. It's a 2-year grant. You have to keep somebody after that for 1 year.
1 year.
so it's
okay.
3 years in total.
Yeah.
They pay for 2,
3 years in total.
we have to be committed for the
2 years
additional
covered,
3rd year.
1 year, 100%.
Right, okay.
But I think it's a good program to be looking at in connection to
With what
our subcommittee in relation to ALS. If we can somehow or another justify the taking on of these people.
Well, the
increased
first
benefits
step
of
is to
ALS.
apply for the grant,
Right.
and then we have to accept the grant, right?
But to accept the grant, if and when we do get it, I don't want to go and apply for the grant without you knowing that I'm going to do it. I want to make sure you understand what the grant is all about.
3 or 4.
I would like to see Mr.
There's only one page. There's only one
It
page.
says 3 or 4.
Yeah, I just grabbed the one
okay.
page to give you the quick synopsis of what they will pay for and what they won't.
Mr. O'Leary?
Last month, about a month or so ago, when I suggested the study committee, this was part of what I had in mind in relation to doing it, putting it on the short timeline as far as getting the requisite information needed to make some well-informed decisions. So I would be in favor of filing for this, so long as we're still on track with getting some information regarding the providing of ALS through the North Reading Fire Department. I'd like to dovetail the two issues together here, because if we can't do that, I'm not so sure we can afford 2 years down the road to pick up 3 or 4 more firefighter salaries if we don't have a revenue stream to support it. So I like it,
The grant
but I have to be cautious.
When do
will
you,
be on December 18th. It's a 90-day window before they authorize giving you the grant or not giving it. And then you have 90 days in order to pick it up.
That's good.
you answered my questions. I was looking for a timeline. Okay, so that's
It
fine.
fits.
I think it fits. We've had 2 very good meetings for the subcommittee. We're gathering more information at our next meeting, so I think it fits. The timeline fits, and they do dovetail with one another, so. I say apply for the grant.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yes. For the benefit of the public, just to clarify, you said there can be no layoffs within that 3-year period.
Right. The fire department.
Fire
Can't lay
department
anybody
wide,
off.
the full fire department, not just those positions.
Right.
Right,
You can't take this funds and fill positions and then lay other people off.
Right, okay.
That's what they're saying.
Yep.
The grant's about 70 pages long if you want a copy of it.
No,
If
thanks.
you're calling for consensus, I'm in favor.
I'll call for consensus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In favor?
Good idea.
Actually, go
Okay.
ahead.
Proceed. We
Thank you.
certainly have time to change our mind.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And again, thank the department and yourself, you did a great job. You had a busy week here, busy few
Yeah.
days.
I was gonna fire on the way over here, so.
Did fire-
It's been a busy week. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, legal bills for 2009.
Mr. Chairman, I move to
Greg
approve.
is
Sorry.
just, no, I wanted to,
Didn't ask a question.
I wanted him to, Well, let's skip over that and come back to it. And move to the livery license, Metro Town Car. Is there a representative from Metro Town Car?
Yes, sir.
Name and address, and
My name is Nathan Serafian. I reside at 23 Chestnut Street, North Reading. I'm here before the board to seek approval of a livery license. It's a single-car executive sedan service, providing transportation to and from Boston Logan Airport.
is that all just Boston, Logan, or?
Well, Manchester and surrounding communities as well. But the purpose of the license is, the city of Boston requires me to have a permit to operate at Logan Airport.
And if I read this correctly, you're going to be operating from your home, and you've got,
That's my residence. I don't have any traffic coming to or from my home. I have no signage on my property.
and there's only one vehicle according to
It's only
this?
one vehicle, and I'm the sole proprietor.
And this was approved by the Board of Appeals?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else have any questions?
I do.
Just for clarification, board members, you'll note that the report of the police department makes reference to the attached special permit. That refers, it's not attached, that's the actual special permit, that's a couple of pages prior to the board of appeals. So that's what that special permit is.
Okay, so that's all set.
Yep.
And Mr. Vino?
I have no problem with issuing it, but I have a question on the Board of Appeals permit. We have one signature out of 3. Is that legal? And if it is, why?
Yeah, I saw that too.
I mean, I don't understand that.
Steve, you're very familiar with the process.
Generally what happens is one member, they rotate as to who writes the findings. They sign it, sometimes they sign, sometimes they're not by everybody, but the vote of the findings is what's official. So it was taken at their meeting and filed with the clerk's office.
And probably the special permit itself is signed off on it by more than just one member, too.
Well, it has to be
No, that's the
Unanimous?
permit.
unanimous. Anyway,
This is it?
so this is.
No, this is the findings. This isn't the actual permit.
Oh,
No, the permit is issued by us. This is their findings. So he now has the opportunity to come before the board with the special conditions imposed by the, so if the board decides to issue the permit, these are the restrictions.
So, Mr. Keys is the one who issued the findings from the
He's the
zoning
one who-
board on this
who
issue.
did the synopsis of the
Okay.
findings of the board. I wrote it, wrote them up.
Okay.
I wrote it.
So
They
it's,
don't actually issue the permit. We do. That's why it's here.
okay, answer your question. Any other questions? Mr.
Satisfied?
Do you have any other comments?
No, sir.
Mr. Yule?
Excuse me, before you read the
Oh.
motion, I'm just wondering if this motion is, subject to our regulatory department requirements. I'm just wondering if it should reference the,
I think it has to reference the special conditions of the permit, right?
right, subject to our regulatory department requirements and, conditions imposed by the,
Yeah, mandatory conditions imposed by the zoning board of appeals.
right. Okay, so at the end of it, subject to our
Subject
regulatory
to-
department requirements and mandatory conditions issued by the zoning board of appeals.
ready? Mr. Chairman, I move to grant a livery license to Nathan Serafian, DBA Metro Town Car, 23 Chestnut Street, to expire December 31, 2009. Expire 2009, this year?
Yes,
Okay,
it's annual.
okay. So we'll be back.
We'll be reviewing it at our next meeting.
Okay. Subject to all regulatory department requirements and mandatory conditions issued by the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you.
One question. When that permit expires at the end of the year, will I be able to come in and renew for another year?
Yeah?
You don't need to come in.
I don't need to come in?
It'll be done automatically.
You do have to apply, right?
Karen will fill out the final paperwork and send it out.
Thank you very much.
You'll be getting it with your new license.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is a meeting with our DPW director, Mr.
Want to go back to legal
Cannavale.
bills?
You wanna do
Bob,
both?
What?
Want to go back to legal bills?
Yeah.
Oh,
Take care of that.
I'm sorry. Hang on a minute. I skipped over legal bills because you had stepped out of the meeting. I just said,
In summary, the bills reflect that town councils worked with the October town meeting. And also there were two labor cases, one of them involving a challenge by one of our labor unions related to health insurance, which was filed with the State Labor Relations Commission. At this time it is unresolved. The second issue relates to a second arbitration claim forwarded by one of the labor unions, and it relates to a personal property basically that was resolved, and it was resolved with favor of the town. Those are the major issues, and I give recommendations.
okay. I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for October 2009 in the amount of $8,833.95 as follows. Copeland and Page, PC General, $1,798.95. Copeland and Page, PC Labor, $5,652.50. Copeland and Page, PC Water, $1,382.50 for a total of $8,833.95.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Mr. Conover.
I'm going to speak about three things. Snow and ice program review, my initial thoughts on strategic goals after 90 days on the job here at DPW for the next 5 years, and drainage and clean water projects. Long story short, when I first started here, one of the concerns I was told in the interview process was, what are we getting for the money for snow and ice? A lot of money goes out. What does that mean? So there's two handouts in the packet I gave you. One is a spreadsheet with a bunch of numbers. What I did is look at our historical data. We're very lucky here in that we have data like this going back to 1992. Detailed records on every storm, what it costs for DPW labor, hired contractors, materials, ice melting materials and sand, and maintenance, various things we need to fix in the snow. It's very, very good information. So I took that, and just bear with me, next sheet, I looked at all the storms, and conclusion on this one is the last 5 years, the trends are generally the same as the 5-year average. We've had some heavy storms, more than usual. Will be this one for the audience.
That's right on
Okay, now, I see it now.
Even with global warming, it looks like the trends for the storms hitting this town are about the same as has been the last 15 years. Let's point to that one. The next one shows the trends in the total costs since 1992. Some highlighted items you can see under